Well, good evening, Bear fans, and welcome to another edition of Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV. Tonight, it's basketball and baseball. We'll catch up with a couple of basketball players, have a few Bear spotlights, and retiring head coach Ken Jackson with the SMCC baseball program will join us as well. So bear down and get ready. It's time for Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV.
Inside Southwest Bear Athletics is your home for all things sports related at Southwest Mississippi Community College. Benji Embry is the voice of Southwest Bear Athletics and a seasoned sports broadcaster in Southwest Mississippi. You can hear him on game day broadcasting nearly all of our athletic events. Join us weekly on Tuesdays to catch up on the discussions. You can hear us live on Bear TV, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also download the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and Amazon Music. So if you have questions or you just want to keep up with teams and stats, you have come to the right place. Inside Bear Athletics.
Well, welcome back to Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV on this Tuesday night as we have another Bear Spotlight segment for you and some big news for this young man as we welcome Michael Barber to the program. Mike, good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
I am great. Well, just a couple of days ago, the announcement came down that you will be moving on from Southwest Mississippi Community College to further not only your educational career, but your basketball career. Tell us about your big announcement earlier this week.
It's just a testament to all my hard work and to my coaches and my teammates, my family, just for pushing me on the court and off the court. Just testament to all my hard work and excited to get on campus.
Alabama State University, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the recruiting process. How'd that go for you?
It was up and down just with COVID. Talking to a few different schools and can't really go visit them because of just coronavirus. So it was different. But just relationships and making relationships was a big part of it. So I felt like Alabama State was a place I could feel like home. Mo Williams is my family, so just felt like it was right.
How different was the recruiting process from when you were being recruited from Southwest than it was with Alabama State?
I've known Coach Bender for a pretty good time, so it was that was a little different. I felt a lot more comfortable. I had been up here, before and everything. So, but it was different, but it was enjoyable. I still enjoyed the process.
Well, let's back up a little bit now. Let's talk a little bit more about Michael Barber, get to know you a little bit better. Let's go back to first time you remember having somebody put a basketball in your hand. Who was that?
Coach Larry Holmes when I was 9 years old. I started playing basketball kind of late, actually. I was a nerd my whole life until then.
So at 9 years old, that's when somebody first put a basketball in your hand.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to start loving the sport?
A good little while until I met Omar Carter, probably. Yes, sir. Just when I met him, he showed me what basketball honestly was and how hard you had to work to get something out of it.
Well, you talk about being a 9-year-old picking up a basketball. Of course, you did play in high school basketball. You played in the MAIS. Tell us about your time at Jackson Academy.
I loved it at JA. I love Coach Ball. He taught me a whole lot about basketball, just being able to read X and O's and just how the way different people guard you and everything. Being able to read a scouting report, too. That was a big skill he taught me. So, yes, sir, I loved it at JA. Miss Coach Ball.
Well, you moved on from Jay, and I think one of the expressions, somebody told me this back during basketball season. They said that you were playing with the intensity and the fire that you had in basketball in high school, again here at Southwest. What reignited your fire?
Being back in Mississippi, Coach Bender brought a lot of that out, honestly. Just trying to be able to show my talents. And, I wasn't able to play against a lot of the people that I played at Southwest because they were in public school and I was in a private school league. So that was real fun to me. That was a goal I wanted to do, be able to play against those guys, showing that I can, actually hoop because a lot of them didn't get to play against me in high school.
You talked about knowing Coach Brian Bender. What made you choose to come back home to Southwest or to come back to Mississippi and Southwest?
Just the relationship that he already had with my late AAU coach, Omar Carter. And just, I knew being here, he would get me better on and off the court just from what he was telling me when he was recruiting me. And he's just a genuine guy. So I always want to be with genuine people.
How much had you heard about the Southwest Community College basketball program? I know it's had a lot of success. Did you know that, or were you kind of unfamiliar with the program? How was your take on Southwest when Coach Bender first called you?
I knew that they had won a championship a few years ago. I had already known Coach Zach, he just from working out and being in the gym. I knew that their program was, used to winning and everything, and I just tried to come in, do the best I can, and get it back up to standard.
Well, let's talk about the Michael Barber off the floor.
Yes, sir.
Of course, you're a college student, obviously. What are some of the things you enjoy doing when you're not playing basketball?
I'm in the gym a lot, so most of my time I'm working out, just being with friends, going to the mall, to the movies or something. I don't really be doing anything.
Sounds like a teenage life, doesn't
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
you're moving on to Alabama State University. You'll, of course, be leaving us after the spring semester, going to Alabama State. What are your hopes for not only with Alabama State, but moving forward in life?
At Alabama State, just to win. That's the expectation, and going there and putting up numbers, doing whatever I can to help the team win. And after college, I'm not sure yet. Wherever God leads me to, I'm gonna have a business degree, so maybe law school. I'm not really sure yet. Yeah, something to just keep praying on. Just the ball doesn't keep bouncing.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you've had a great time here. I know we've enjoyed you being here at Southwest Mississippi Community College. Watching you play on the court night in and night out was definitely a pleasure for us. Congratulations on Alabama State University. Before I let you go, though, you've talked a lot of good things about him, but I want to know one thing before I let you go. Say 10, 15 years from now, some kid's being recruited, and they call Mike Barber, and they say, Mike, this guy named Brian Bender is lighting up my phone. What's the first thing you're going to tell him about Brian Bender?
He's going to make you do your schoolwork, and he's going to keep you in the gym. For sure.
Keep you in the gym and make you do your schoolwork.
Yes, sir. It's pretty simple, but pretty hard at the same time.
Well, Mike, we appreciate your time. Congratulations again on Alabama State University.
so
Thanks for choosing Southwest to play your basketball. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing your name in many, many more occasions in box scores where you have a lot of success at Alabama State. Thanks a lot. That's another Bear Spotlight. We'll come back with more on this Tuesday night with Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV.
It's a new day. It's a new year. It's a new season. It's time to get excited about football at Southwest Mississippi Community College. So go ahead and make plans to join us this September for all of our hometown football action here in Summit. It's time to get excited about Southwest Athletics.
Thank you for supporting Southwest Athletics.
Get your all-sport season pass today.
Reach the summit.
Let's get to it. It's time to get back to Inside Bear Athletics.
Well, welcome back to Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV. Our thanks to Michael Barber for joining us as he's moving on to Alabama State University. Let's shift gears now, talk baseball. A couple of weeks ago, the announcement was made by the head coach of the baseball program, Ken Jackson, that he would be retiring at the end of this season. First, Coach Jackson, welcome back to the program.
I'm glad to be here, Benji.
Well, Coach Jackson, I know it's got to kind of be a surreal moment for you now that the baseball season is completely over. Probably sure that in some ways that hadn't even sunk in yet, has it?
Actually, no. It's hard to believe that my career as a baseball coach is done, and it's time to look back on it and reflect and think of all the great memories I've had of it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your coaching career. You talked about 38 years in the business. Not a lot of people can say they've been in the same county all 38 years. You have had two jobs. You started, of course, as a high school coach at Park Lane Academy. And I like to say this, you were a young man when you took that job, too,
I
weren't
was
you?
very young. Actually, I was coaching football there as a 20-year-old. I graduated high school a little early, age-wise, and I turned 21 during football season. So, yeah, I was young.
What made A, Park Lane, and B, Ken Jackson want to take on such a responsibility at a very young age?
That's a good question. I had a couple opportunities to do other things or be at other places. but being come back home, and obviously my dad and my mom and was still here, and Mr. Swindle, which was the administrator there at that time, gave me the opportunity to come back, and they were looking for a baseball coach, and it just kind of fell in my lap. And 23 years later, I was still doing it at the same place, and then had the opportunity to come here. So.
Well, I want to talk about the opportunity to come here. You talked about 23 years at one place. You had built that Park Lane program to a year-in, year-out contender as far as baseball went. You get the call to become an assistant coach at Southwest. What made you decide to want to move from the high school ranks to the college ranks?
I had told Mr. Swindle years earlier that the only job that I would pursue legitimately was Southwest. It was kind of my second home because that's where I went to school. I had no desire to move my family from Macomb, Pike County, and again, I had several opportunities to do that, but I just didn't feel like it was the right time or right place. And so when Southwest came open and Lee Kirkendall was getting the head job here in 2008, I just felt like it was a good move for me, and I still feel like it was a good move for me.
Well, there's a big difference, obviously, between high school and college baseball. What was the biggest adjustment that you had to make becoming from a head coach aide to an assistant coach at a community college level?
Really not a whole lot adjustments there because I thought Coach Kirkendall did a great job of letting me do my thing. I was the pitching guy. We almost ran 2 different practices most of the time. I just didn't have to put up with the headaches of being the head coach.
And then when Kirkendall decides to leave, you throw your name in the hat for head coach job at Southwest. What was the adjustment there from assistant coach to head coach?
A lot of paperwork, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of worry, a lot of concern, but it was all worth it. I wouldn't change anything about it, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
They say that coaching is a family. I know you've brought your family through the years of coaching, and last couple of weeks, speaking with your wife, Miss Jill, she has very much become a coach's wife. She kind of lives and dies just like you do with every out, with every game day.
Absolutely. I'm gonna throw some names out at you. People like Guy Gatlin and Randy Spring and John White, and Scott Kuhn, those guys. They were 13 years old, and the year that Jill and I was getting married, and I was coaching an all-star team. And we had planned on our wedding was in August. We were going on a honeymoon to Tennessee, and I was coaching the All-Star team, and we were fixing to win a state championship in the World Series in Sarasota, Florida. And we had decided, she said, you know what, we may be spending our honeymoon with a bunch of 13-year-olds in Sarasota, Florida. And so she bit into it very early, and that was before I actually was doing it full time, obviously. But she bit into it, and she says that's her biggest concern. She's a coach's wife, and she's trying to decide what she's going to do now. You know, but I think the realities hit her a little bit more, and we're going to find other things. I can promise you.
You talk about Miss Jill being a coach's wife. You had 2 daughters, both of which played softball, and both of which at one point in their life were married, or still married, I should say, to baseball coaches. So what's that like?
Pretty good conversation around the house. We can have a pretty good family conversation talking about baseball or softball or sports, and everybody's very well in tune what's going on and have their input. It's a great conversation. Honestly, it's a good situation to be in.
So how did you feel about your daughters marrying guys that wanted to be baseball coaches? Knowing the strain and the grind that it takes, how'd you feel about that?
I think it's a positive thing because I think both my daughters have been into the being a coach's wife and being part of it. And if you're going to be successful in any business, your spouse better buy into what's going on. And both my daughters are fully taken in by what's going on with the sports, and they're just excited about their husbands and coaching and the teams and the players and the families and all that, just like my wife was for 30 years.
Moving outside your personal family into your baseball family, I know last couple of weeks many people have that once either played for Ken Jackson or coached with Ken Jackson have shared their memories of what they remember most about Ken Jackson. And I think going forward, that may be the best part for you, is hearing all their stories, right?
You know, the one thing I haven't heard one time discussed on any forum, I guess you can call it, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or just a text message I've gotten from them. No one has talked about a state championship. No one's talked about a win or a loss or even a game, really and truly. It's the relationship, and that's what I cherish the most about my. If you've never been around kids or participated with kids and coached them and or did anything, you know, being a band director or a teacher or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's the relationships you have with your students and your players, and that's probably been the most gratifying thing that I've got to do and think about and kind of reflect on, because those guys and girls, I've coached enough girls even and taught for so many years. That means a lot to me, and that's what I'm taking from this. It's, you know, the wins and losses. I was telling my players the other day, we was out in we have a barn behind our house. It's got a bunch of just stuff in it, and I found a lot of trophies that I had won years earlier. I found some of Maggie's trophies. I found some of Haley's trophies, and they're out there. They got squirrel's nest and bird's nest and all that in them in the boxes. And I said those trophies are going to go away. But it's the relationships, and that's probably what I'm gonna miss most in going on.
Absolutely. Well, they say giving something up is hard. I know you told me that you'd been thinking about this for a while, but how did you know it was time?
I've said it in several times, several different publications or interviews or whatever. The guy I probably have the most respect for as a former boss was Charlie Newland. And Charlie told me years ago, you will know when it's time. And something will hit you, and you could fight it for a little while, but it's going to tell you it's time. And I just, my body's tired, my mind's tired. I don't have the energy I once had, and this sport it's a young man's sport, the coaching part of it, and you got to have fire. And not that I don't love coaching, not that I don't love players, not that I don't love the game, but I just had to walk away from it.
Well, you say you always leave it better than you got it. So let's talk about the Southwest baseball program as far as how you feel like you're leaving it. I know numerous changes have been made to the facilities. The indoor practice facility is something that kind of came along as you were here. So you feel like you're leaving the program better than you got it?
I do. You know, probably the biggest disappointment I've got is our wins and losses. And there's a lot of contributing factors I think that are included in that, but you know, we didn't win the games, a number of games that I wanted to win and thought we should have won. But I think the program is in a good position for whoever comes in behind me. I think the facilities are good. I think we got a great recruiting class coming in, and hopefully these guys on this team this year, the ones that have the ability or the qualification in terms of class and all that, are coming back, and I think the program's in a good situation, and I think whoever comes in can take it and run with it.
In talking with several coaches that have retired along the way, they tell me the one thing they won't miss is recruiting talent. How do you feel about that? Will you miss that part or not?
I will not. Being on the road, of course, I think my two assistant coaches do a great job, so I haven't had to be on the road as much this year. But it's the phone calls at night and staying on the phone for an hour and a half at night, talking to kids and trying to convince them to come here. And then you bring them in here and you spend, 3 or 4 hours with them on campus. And I'm not going to miss that. The only thing I do miss out of that is just getting to know the kids, but I'm not going to miss that at all. It's just I miss the this crazy. The thing I'm going to miss probably more than anything is just the idea of being around the kids and practice. I love practice. Not the games, you know. I don't think I'll miss the games. Just the practice.
So it's over now. Of course, this summer you'll probably kind of have a typical summer, but then fall will get here, and fall ball will get started, and you'll get that schedule in your head, and Southwest will start practicing. Is that when Ken Jackson will really realize it's over?
I think so. I really believe that's. I'm concerned about that a little bit, and but I think I'm gonna occupy my mind with other things, and I got enough duties that Dr. Bishop's going to give me on campus, and I think I'll have enough to do. I won't have to worry about that. But yes, and obviously knowing that after 38 years, that next spring I would not be on the field in any capacity. That's going to probably hit more than anything because. You know, when I say 38 years, that's doing some years of, helping out as a student coach at Petal High School and then at Park Lane and here. You know, I was on the field coaching. You know, and Larry Watkins gave me an opportunity to coach at Petal, and I was even though I was a student assistant, I coached. You know, and so knowing I'm not going to be on the field is going to be a little different. Yes.
So in the spring, let's say there's a game on Tuesday. You're looking at the forecast, you see it's going to rain and the tarp's not on the field. How hard is it going to be not to place a phone call?
It's funny you asked that. I had a conversation yesterday with a former coach at Colin, Keith Case, which is the AD at Wharton Community College in Texas. And he said that's his biggest thing. He makes phone calls to the baseball coach, why is this not being done? And why is the tarp not on the field? And I said, I hope I don't do that, but I won't say I won't. I will not. But I will say it's going to be a situation where I don't have to make those decisions. You know, having to make decisions on weather and weather's coming in. Do you move a game here? That's the coach's job. And those kind of decisions, the stress and all that, I don't have to worry about.
Especially with rainouts and everything else. You don't have to decide, should we play Saturday, should we play Sunday, should we play Monday?
Absolutely, and knowing you may get back to playing 6 games or 8 games in a week, that's not going to be my concern. You know, I can give you some advice, but that's it.
Well, the good news is that Southwest Mississippi Community College is not losing Ken Jackson. You are retiring from baseball, but you will be, even though you're retiring from baseball, you'll be stepping into a different role here at Southwest. Tell us about that.
I'm excited about it. You know, there's a lot of things that I'm already doing. The only thing I won't be doing is coaching baseball, but I'll be taking care of facilities, athletic grounds, in terms of making sure things are getting done that needs to be done to the fields and the facilities. I'm actually excited going back in the classroom. Which that's something I have missed. I've always loved teaching, and I've kind of missed that a little bit. So I'm going back in the classroom, and I'm going to work with Dr. Dale, you know, on the foundation, raising money for the athletic programs. So that's kind of the 3 main, and helping Coach Wallace, the athletic directors, and whatever he wants me to do, or whatever he does not want to do. You know? But I'm excited about the change in that when I can leave, you know, and go home and not have to worry a little bit as much about. I'm still going to worry, you know, because it's a job. You still, most of the time, you take your job home with you all the time. But I guess I've never done anything other than that, you know. So, but I am excited about the new role, and I love Southwest, and I want to stay here as long as I can.
Well, you love Southwest. You'll assume that new role, of course. I guess kind of already starting to kind of assume that role with baseball season being over. One other thing, I was talking to Miss Jill the other day. One thing that she's very, very concerned about, and I want to know your thoughts on this. She is uber concerned about having to make sure she has dinner for you every night. She said something about she's used to you catching a hamburger at the ballpark or being gone, but she's really concerned about having to cook 5. So are you going to take up cooking and take some of the stress off, Miss Jill?
No, thank goodness we have Nona lives a half a mile from us. And Nona's kind of our go-to person right now with food. So, no, I am excited about that. I'm excited to be able to get home and maybe fire the grill up a little bit more and have a little more time. You know, the most thing, probably the biggest thing I'm excited about, that if I want to leave here on a Friday afternoon and go to Orange Beach, Alabama, and see my grandbabies, I can do that. That's probably the most exciting thing I am. You know, I can spend the weekend and not have to worry about, you know, do we need to practice this weekend or whatever, you know, so, and get to watch Ben coach a little bit more, so.
Burning up the highway east and west.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Burning that highway east and burning that highway west to keep up with those daughters and, more importantly, those grandbabies.
That's right.
You're not so much worried about what the daughters do, it's what those grandbabies do, right?
That's right. You're absolutely correct.
Well, Coach Ken Jackson, thank you. 38 years of dedication to a sport. I know it won't just go away by any stretch. You will still be a baseball man. You will always be thought of as a baseball man. But congratulations for what you are retiring from and what you're going to get to do next. I think sometimes new challenges excite people, and I think your new role's kind of got you excited.
It does. It does. I really can't lie. I'm not putting on a persona. You know, it's just there. You know, and it's. I'm excited about the new role.
You have to move out of the big office, though.
I don't know where I'm gonna move.
Well, Coach Ken Jackson, we thank you so much for the years you've given to Southwest as a player, as a fan, and more importantly, as a coach. Thank you for what you've done for our baseball program, and we, of course, look forward to the new and improved athletic programs that we're going to be having over the next few years with your new role here on campus. Thank you so much for your time with the baseball, and first time the tarp needs rolling, we'll just let the new baseball coach know to call you, huh? Not going to be there. Not going to be there. Coach Ken Jackson, thank you so much. We look forward to catching up with you in the fall when you're in your new role and talking about some of this.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Coach Ken Jackson. We'll come back. One more player spotlight as we go back to the SMCC basketball program.
It's a new day. It's a new year. It's a new season. It's time to get excited about football at Southwest Mississippi Community College. So go ahead and make plans to join us this September for all of our hometown football action here in summer. It's time to get excited about Southwest Athletics.
Thank you for supporting Southwest Athletics.
Get your all-sport season pass today.
Reach the summit.
Let's get to it. It's time to get back to Inside Bear Athletics.
Well, welcome back here on Inside Bear Athletics. One more segment this evening as we go back to Southwest basketball. And Mr. Strickland joining us. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Just fine. Of course, you're another sophomore in that Bear basketball program. I want to talk to you first about what your plans are following your time here at Southwest.
Yes, sir. I'm currently looking for another school to go to. Right now, another 4-year school to go. So I know Coach Brendan working hard right now, trying to find me another place to go.
What's the recruiting process like coming out of COVID? What's that been like? I'm sure it's different than it was when you were being recruited for Southwest. What's that been? How's that been different for you?
Right now, it's just a waiting process for us, for a lot of people. So, you know, we just got to wait it out and make sure we stay ready.
Absolutely. Well, let's back up now, talk about you more as getting recruited for Southwest. What did you know about this Southwest program when you got that phone call and they said, hey, would you be interested in Southwest Mississippi Community College? What did you know about Southwest, number one?
I know it was a winning program, and I know it was. I know Coach Brenner was known for getting his players out to the next level. So that's the reason why I came here.
So it was an easy decision for you to choose Southwest.
Yes, sir.
Well, now that you've chose Southwest, let's back up even more. Let's talk about your basketball career from the start. What's the first memory you have of basketball?
I say playing AAU basketball. When I first started, it was a little Mississippi league, and you know it was all a bunch of people I knew, but we was competing. So that's the first memory I really had.
How old were you at the time?
Probably about 7.
So 7 years old, you were already in AAU basketball. When did you fall in love with the sport?
Probably around that time. You know, that's what I noticed. That's what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to try to do after high school.
Well, speaking of high school, what high school did you go to, number one? Who was your coach?
I went to Corinth High School, and his name was Keith Green.
What did Mr. Green instill in you that you still remember today?
Just show up and do the work. You know, he stayed the same every day in practice and during the game, and just like I said, he showed up and did the work, and that's what I learned the most from him.
As you got out of high school, of course, you chose college. You chose to come here to Southwest Mississippi Community College. We talked about you getting the call and knowing it was a winning program, but what made you want to choose Southwest other than the fact that you knew Coach Bender? When that call came, what did you say? Hey, I'll do that.
Just like I said, winning speaks for itself. So, you know, and like I said, a couple of people vouch for Coach Bender. He's a good dude and a great leader.
Let's talk about your time here at Southwest when you're not playing basketball. It's been an interesting year for sure coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic. What are some of the things you enjoy doing when you're not playing basketball?
Well, I like to go out. I like to hang out with friends, you know, read. That's probably about it.
I heard you just had a birthday too, didn't you? Did they throw you a birthday party?
No, they didn't throw me a
Did
birthday
Coach Bender
party.
get you a big cake?
He didn't give me a big cake. I'm hoping some brookies come around next week somewhere.
Yeah, you did just turn 21 last week, so that's an accomplishment too. You talked about the recruiting process. Obviously, it's a year where coming out of COVID in the community college system, the NCAA is doing the same thing. So we know you're going to get a chance to play basketball at the next level. Outside of basketball, what are some of your overall goals?
Just overall being a good person, a good leader, and just making sure I just stay the same every day.
Stay the same every day. That's an important part of being you, isn't it?
That's it.
Well, now, as we get ready to end this, I always ask everybody this question. It's a little weird when he's watching you, but you can still answer it. Down the road, you're out and playing basketball somewhere, and this 18, 19-year-old kid gives you a call that knows you from high school, and he says, hey, man, I got this Brian Bender guy calling me, wanting me to play basketball for him. What's the first thought's going to come to your mind when you hear him say, I got this Brian Bender guy calling me?
I'm just telling him he's a good person. And at the end of the day, he wants what's best for you. You know, not just himself, you know, and the people around. He put his coaching staff want the best for you, so he's a good dude. That's what I tell him.
So you would tell him come to Brian Bender and play basketball.
I definitely will.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for what you did on the court this year. It was a joy watching you guys play. I told Mike Barber, who was on the program earlier, same thing. It was a joy watching you guys play this year. Thank you for coming to Southwest, being a part of our basketball program. Good luck to you with your future. We know that we're probably just a couple of weeks away from hearing about where you're going to be next and playing basketball. We look forward to that as well. And we thank you for your time here at Southwest.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, that'll do it for another edition of Inside Bear Athletics. Our thanks to the SMCC basketball program and, of course, to Coach Ken Jackson, who will be retiring as the SMCC baseball coach, for joining us on this Tuesday night as well. That'll do it for another edition of Inside Bear Athletics. Join us every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. on all of the social media platforms of Southwest Mississippi Community College.
Thanks for joining us for Inside Bear Athletics. To keep up with all current game stats, scores, and events, join us at www.southwestbearathletics.com.